Well, here we are with just a random little podcast episode that I'm going to be starting up.
Here we are indeed.
Here we are indeed. I don't know whether this is going to become a thing. I don't. It's not going to be often that I have anything to speak about. But
Yeah, and you need to find out a guest as well.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But with me on the first episode, we have Lil Jesus, CCZ Productions here today. The big man himself. One of the three of the DLC. He's the D because he is a D.
Yeah, man.
And well, today mainly I brought him on here to ask him some questions and have a discussion about his latest album that has recently come out, which is Warning Hot Content. Now, I am actually quite interested to speak about this because I am easily the #1 streamer of this album in the entire world. Easily, right? I've listened to this more than anyone else in the entire world. And on God, I can promise you that. I've heard it probably over 20 times now, all the way through. And I am a huge fan of this album. I mean, you really have come so far compared to what you were doing before, even with Easy to Run, Hard to Hide. So, in fact, you know what? Let's
Appreciate that, man.
before we get on to the latest album, how about we take it back a step,
Oh, damn.
and we can go back to Easy to Run, Hard to Hide, right? Because I think it'll be good to get an idea of where you've come from there. So what were your original inspirations for the first album projects thing that you put out? Like, was there anything particularly that inspired you to make the songs on there, or was it more of just you just made them as they came? Like, what was there any particular inspirations?
Not much inspiration, really. I mean, I guess I just kind of wanted an album to have a collection of mainly singles, even though I didn't actually include any singles I released before, which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
But I also had an instrumental on there. I wanted to do skits as well, which obviously I couldn't do with any single releases. And yeah, I just wanted to try something completely new, you know?
Yeah, that skit contains me. I am actually on that skit. The first of the so far, the first two that I've been encountered on. Oh, I'm even on the outro. Sorry, I'm on 2 skits technically on the first one. I'm even technically on one of the not as like a proper main artist, but I've got the little background stuff on Cruise Control. That was But yeah, no, I mean, I could definitely see that. I mean, it didn't seem as much as you were going for a particular theme on the first one. It was more just, like you said, just a bunch of singles that all came together. Actually, something I will ask. One in particular is Another Scheme. Obviously, that's playing off of the Scheme little sort of like storytelling subdivision thing that we sort of made ages ago now. Actually, that we done that with from the first one that came out in what was that, 2020?
Yeah, downloading content.
The original Scheme track. Yeah, Luxon carried that track. Let's just put that out
He
there.
did though, absolutely.
If without him, we wouldn't be anywhere. But anyways, yeah. So what made you say this, come up the story that you came across on that track on your own version of the Scheme sort of I guess not franchise. That sounds a bit silly, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
yeah, no. But yeah. Sorry.
I wanted to use it as a way of kind of breaking up the album, and I really enjoy these kind of story-based tracks, like Echo Lake, for example. It's probably my favorite, just because writing the whole story for it, it's just a bunch of fun, man. And so was Another Scheme. I just really enjoyed writing that. I felt like it was good. I think it's exactly in the middle. Yeah, not exactly in the middle.
Track
It's
number
9
5.
tracks, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was a nice little thing to put in, and I think the actual beat itself complements more of a story type of thing.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a hip hop kind of fast rap flow style kind of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you know what I mean? I can't lie. I haven't a lot of the tracks off of this project I haven't heard for a very long time, but I I mean, Seven Oaks Pimp especially, that's a quality opener. That is, I think that is probably, you know, that was a great opener, and
Yeah, I did love that.
But no, yeah, I love your storytelling tracks are great. Like I do really enjoy them, especially obviously we'll get onto the latest album in a little bit. But no, like you said, Echo Lake. I mean that is great. That one is. And sticking on the topic of Easy to Run, Hard to Hide, that reminds me of Behind the Sun. Like, were you like? Do you have any interest in like space and like the existence of like extraterrestrial beings? Because it seems like that's sort of the theme of that song. It's saying about like, surely we're not the only ones. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be other life forms behind the sun, as the track says. Like, so was there any particular peak in interest in that at the time? Or was it more so just, you know, I mean, you've generally had interest?
Definitely some interest. I mean, I kind of wanted to write something in, you know, a little bit more philosophical. Philosophical.
Yeah.
No, that's not how you say it, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Another scheme, you know, it kind of gets your mind going as to what is that exactly happening, and then it kind of transitions onto Behind the Sun, which talks more generally, you know. It's not explaining a story. It's kind of talking about the story of us, you know, mankind as a whole. How we came to be, and you know what is behind the sun. I mean, you know, a bunch of stars, but really, what is behind it? So
yeah, no, it is one of those things. It is always really interesting, like to think about those things, you know, because I mean, we don't know. I mean, and
we just see it as a limit, you know, this big ball in the sky, and we're like, yeah, you know, it's there, but what's actually?
I mean,
in the horizon.
There's also like the theories of stuff about how space is always expanding and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Eventually, it's gonna rubber band backwards, and then that's. But no, it is very interesting because obviously we don't. Well, at this current moment in time, we don't have like the technological sort of advancements to be able to even like think about. I mean, we can't even go to Mars. Yeah, can we really? That's still a big thing. So, no, but it's a very thought-provoking track. That one is. It does make you really think about, you know. And it's really weird because even though, like you said, it's like a bunch of like singles almost, like it's really weird to be sat there and you're like, it's very, like I said, very thought provoking. It does make you think about, like, it makes you question your existence, and you know what I mean. What else could be out there? If
I could remake the whole album, I definitely would nowadays. But yeah, I mean, I was very young when I made it, so.
Absolutely.
There's loads of room for
2022 now that came out. I mean, wow.
Everything was done way before that as well, so.
Yeah.
Probably, like late 2021 is definitely finished.
Yeah, no, that's very true actually, because I remember that I mixed all of those tracks, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so I remember that I had the final.
I would have literally been like 14 when I wrote everything.
Yeah, that's wild because I had those final mixes for ages, and I was like, man, when are you gonna drop this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were stocking up on those, and then we just dropped it.
Because I was literally listening to that, like the tracks and stuff like that. I would just listen to them, and you know what I mean? Like I'd sit there, like going back and to and from school. I'd just have my earphones and I'd listen to it, and I'm like, man, when is this releasing? You know what I mean? When is it coming out? But no, of course, I mean, I feel like it's only natural considering how long ago it came out to be like, if it was to happen now, like if you were to make it now, obviously you would change things, you know what I mean? That's only natural, you know what I mean? But no, yeah, absolutely. And then for the final thing I'm gonna mention about this project is the final track, which is probably my favorite track on the album. Well, actually, it's really difficult because there are some I like in different aspects. But the title track I really like, Easy to Run, Hard to Hide. It's saying about
that is probably my favorite one.
I mean,
the beat for that and Another Scheme, I would even include them on like my new projects as well. I think they're really nice.
Yeah, no, I feel like those have aged really well. I mean, you know what I mean? They have I just really like the overall like the theme of like coming of age, you know what I mean, like sort of development and growth, because at the beginning of the song, you know what I mean, the guy's like he's running away like and hiding from these like, obviously these feelings and emotions and stuff like that, but at the end of the song it comes back around full not full circle, but like, because obviously that would imply the same thing's happening again, it's a loop, but it sort of breaks the cycle and he stands up and faces up against them. I mean, that's just the fact that we're able to convey like that in a song that's like just over 2 minutes long. I mean, that is honestly really, really well done. That is,
I appreciate that.
Up there, definitely up there. And I I love the outro as well. The outro of that whole project is just the sound, just the word wank reverberating.
I mean, as much as I absolutely love Wonderward, the ending for the newest album,
yeah,
I do think Final Words of CHX is an absolutely classic. I was so hyped when I heard it for the first time. I knew this was exactly the way I wanted this to finish.
Yeah, no, because I had that beat line around for an unspoken project that we are legally, for legal reasons, not allowed to speak about. Yeah, so I had that line around, and you were saying you needed an outro, and I was like, all right, yeah, I got you. And yeah, so, and that was what I cooked up. So, you know what I mean?
It fit. I don't know. It fits so well with the rest of the album, like. It's mad.
Yeah, I know.
The aesthetic of it.
Mate, everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean? That, you know, said, you know, unspoken projects, you know, that was obviously never going to come to be, but that beat was made to be on the outro of that project, 100%. So yeah, no, I mean, that's great. We had I thought it would be good to start off, you know, on just where it was beforehand, and
yeah, a little bit of context, yeah.
And also, you were saying about there was like some singles you didn't put on the album. Just talking on that.
Or which one?
The one that I immediately think of is on Easy to Run, Hard to Hide. Is Kicks.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised that Kicks wasn't on the album.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, yeah, Make Believe wouldn't really fit, but I think Kicks would definitely.
I mean, I butchered the song with the mix. I mean, I was still in my early development of production, you know, sound engineering and stuff like that. So the mix of that song is absolutely atrocious, right? But I'm gonna blame, right? I don't know who it is. I watched a video on YouTube, and this guy was like, oh, you know, using stock plugins and stuff like that, and he was using the multi-band compressor as a de-esser, right? So like the S's weren't as harsh, but whenever I used that, it would make the vocals sound terrible and like really muffle it. I don't know how to describe it, right? But you listen to Kicks now, the vocals don't sound right. They sound really weird, but all of the stuff on the new album sounds fine. And it's because, and even on Easy to Run, Hard to Hide, the mixes aren't as good as they are on the newest one.
Yeah.
But even then, you can hear that they sound a lot more clean, and that's because I found out that was causing the mixes to be dodgy, and I was like, okay, I'm just not using this anymore then. Like, if I mix Kicks now, I think we should do a 2024 remaster, because that track is so underrated.
I think with Make Believe as well, that would...
Absolutely, yeah. We should definitely do a 2024 remaster, and I'll do Kicks justice this time. Because do you remember that one? We were on a Discord call, and I'd done like a remaster of it just for a laugh, and it sounded like much better.
It was already so much better.
Exactly. So we'll definitely need to make that happen and re-upload that as a.
While we're on the topic of Kicks, fun fact: I think this is like the single, like probably my favorite cover that I've done, apart from the newest album. I think the cover goes so hard, and the context behind it took absolutely ages to get this exact screenshot. Yeah. It's actually like Smash Bros. That did this collab with Minecraft.
Yeah.
There's this move where you put down a pressure plate and then you go towards TNT. It took us like hours upon hours trying to get this one screenshot to look as good as possible.
Really?
And then, I just love the context for that album cover.
No, yeah, that is cool. Yeah, if you have any more little interesting things to do with any of the songs, like please do say, you know what I mean, as we go on. But moving on past that point. In fact, let me quickly. Let me quickly have a look. Actually, I want to see if there are any other singles that we can speak about just quickly before we move on to the album. Because I feel like there's got to have at least been another. Oh yes, there's Triple D used to be. Yeah. So what?
The cover for that as well is called.
That is a really sick cover. Like, is that because that feels a lot more like. I don't want to say personal because that makes it sound like it's like, but it feels like you're really like you're speaking about someone specifically. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, like what was going on there? Because it seems like obviously there's this person. You know, I mean, even the name of the track like used to be. You know what I mean? Is it like someone that you used to be really good mates with, and then they sort of just or like what sort of the context behind that?
Oh, it's just a bit of a silly family conflicts, you know.
Yeah.
Me and my cousins, Dave, Daniel, we'd always used to refer to each other as like Triple D.
Yeah.
You know, Denny, Daniel, Dave. That was kind of like our group.
Yeah.
And then Dave just kind of grew like really, you know, away from us.
Yeah.
And for no particular reason, really. I mean, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but yeah, we just didn't really consider him as part of this group anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why Triple D used to be. There's just two of us now, and we're kind of like taking, not only like taking revenge up on him, but making something so that he can reflect on all the good times we had together, and then perhaps giving us another chance.
Yeah. Is that also? I'm looking at the album cover. Is that sort of symbolic there? Because there are two of you that are like lit up still, and then there's one's grayed out in the middle.
He's grayed out, so
Yeah.
he's almost like missing from there's something missing about him, and it's the color.
I can see that actually. Yeah. No. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, I feel like I could tell that there was something there. You know, something behind that.
This was also remastered by me, like just a few weeks ago, and the mix sounds really good. So I'll definitely be releasing a remastered version of this.
Yes, definitely. I mean, to be fair, speaking of all these remasters, even I'm tempted to do some of that because I've had tracks before that I really like, but then whether the beat is crap or something
Yeah, it
like
brings
that,
it down,
like,
doesn't it? The mix just totally brings it down.
I know it does. I mean, you know what I mean? So doing some remasters would be fun. I mean, especially with like, you know what I mean? It'll be so good. I mean, but you know, I'll have to see because it seems like fun. But I'll see if there are any tracks that are actually worthwhile because some of them are just I don't think are savable at all. But yeah, okay, all right. So on to the final major topic.
The main attraction.
The main attraction. Warning: hot contents. Right. So, what were your main sort of like? What really inspired you? I know we've spoken about this before, but like, what were your main sort of thoughts and feelings behind making the tracks for these ones? Because there are some that very much have a like a story being told within them, or they've got like a very much a theme throughout them. So what sort of was there anything like going on like personally, like stuff that you were experiencing or stuff like that made you want to write some of these songs, or did they just kind of spawn in, you just get the idea, or like what happened when it came? What was your thought process behind making the songs for this album?
Well, actually, I mean, this thing was in the making for a long time. And yeah, as I was saying, each track has its own kind of story and meaning of why exactly I made it. But in terms of the overall themes, I wanted it to be very much like provocative.
Yeah.
So not something you'll listen to and like not that you won't be like alright with it, but it makes you like really think, you know, it kind of gets you out of your chair.
You're really like
wondering
you
what
sort of
going.
like
I took some inspiration from kind of like Eminem's albums.
oh right
The skits and whatnot in terms of it being, you know, wanting to be kind of more controversial.
yeah. I mean, I
not
can
your kind of like traditional, clean kind of symbolism and whatnot.
yeah.
It's a bit more intense, you know. That's what I wanted to be.
I mean, I could definitely tell that. I mean, you know, that makes sense behind the name of the project as a whole. I mean, wanting hot contents. I mean, some of them definitely are. I mean, you know, we'll get to the big one when it comes to that in a bit. But I mean, some of these, like, even just like as like your technical ability as like a rapper and an artist have definitely improved. I mean, even just come back, like the flow on that, the writing on that song is like, I mean, I still really like what you've done on the other projects, but like in terms of your technical ability, like that blows anything out like anything from the previous projects out the water. I mean, like that is like your flow, your delivery, and everything like that has improved so much from then. Like, I mean. You know what I mean? I mean, I was saying it for the longest time. I was saying it's like you need to, like, you know, work on your delivery. You know what I mean? You know, and I was, you know,
yeah.
I obviously was saying that to you for a long time, and it seems like you've definitely done that in terms of like, and also even like flow, and just even your, like I said, your overall writing and stuff like that. Like you're definitely a lot stronger with your pen game. Like it's, yeah, no, it's just it overall. Like I just want to say as an overall like. A huge well done on this album. I mean, I've said I genuinely do listen to this in my free time. I actually love like the tracks on here. I mean, they are really well done. The production is amazing as well. Like
yeah, the production was definitely way ahead of everything else.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just loops, you know. I mean, it's all pretty much made by me except from the sampling.
Yes.
But even that is kind of like in our form of its own.
So yeah, so this is all self-produced, isn't it? Obviously, like you said, there are some you can like use some sampling and stuff like that. But like this is
except from the intro, I bought the rights to that beat, but
yeah.
I wasn't about to make a news beat. I had absolutely no clue how to make one. So
no, absolutely, yeah. No. But yeah, no. On all of those, that's self-produced. That is mental. That is very. I mean, wow! Like the beats on here are really, really good. Very, very well made. I mean, even like you've included some more instrumentals on here as well. We got Buzzing and Lil Jesus anthem. Those are very nice. I feel like they do a very good job at like breaking up the album between some tracks. You know what I mean? Like it'll go from, you know, just the like loads of tracks back to back, and then maybe a skit, and then it will have the instrumental. You know, just they sound great as well. It does a good job at dividing up the album to, you know, not be like too much. It's a bit of like a chill, you know what I mean, between some of the songs, and no, it is it's very, very, very good. Now you're saying about obviously you're trying to be, you know, more, I guess, more abrasive, more sort of not thought-provoking in the same way as Easy to Run, Hard to Hide, but more in like you said, like controversial way. I feel like that starts a bit with the track number 3 being Thunder Cunting. Now this that is.
Listen, I found a gap in the market. I was looking for tracks because Thunder Gunting, it was quite like a popular term at the time. I mean, kind of is now, but
yeah,
it was a gap in the market. There's no tracks named Thunder Gunting, and I was like, well, if anyone would want to search like a track based off the meme, then, you know, this is what they would find, and no one else has made it. So I thought, and it fit in really well with the whole lyrics as well. So
oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I was gonna say, so, what were your thoughts exactly when, you know, you make that beat, right? You, as far as I'm aware, did you say you sampled an old Hungarian like animation sort of feature?
Yeah. It's from like, I can't remember like what time period it's from, but it's like really old.
Really old.
More
okay.
Than 50 years old.
No, that, I mean, turning that into a drill beat is like the funniest and yet actually the most hard-hitting thing ever. It is unbelievably. I mean, that is. What a beat! Such like
an innocent thing that most Hungarian like kids could relate to watching that back in the day, and now it's just this like really vulgar drill beat.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it really is quite something. It is unbelievably funny though. It's great, and so right, you sample that, right? You turn it into a drill beat. It's slapping hard, right? So you sit there and you're about to write lyrics. And then you're sat there, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, I quote, "It's just one of those days where you want to shove your balls in a microwave."
You already know, man.
So are we speaking from personal experience here, or, you know, like what are we saying? You know what I mean? Have you woken up in the morning and ever had that thought? Like, you know, you're just like, fuck it, man. It's just one of those days. I want to shove my balls in a microwave right now.
I mean, kind of, but I think right at the beginning when I first made it, I asked you for like ideas about the lyrics. I can't remember for the life of me what you told me. You told me something ridiculous about this guy being some like secret Soviet spy and trying to spread like Soviet propaganda around the neighborhood or something like that. So originally, I actually made lyrics based off that. If you can believe that?
Really?
Yeah, I think I still have those lyrics. I switched up.
Oh my god, I can't even remember that for the life of me. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember that at all. Wow,
It's ages. It's when I first started producing it.
Damn, yeah, that's. Wow, yeah, I was on something else then apparently, just straight up.
But this was like, it was my fuck you track of the album, right? Like.
Yeah.
Bit like Beaming from Kodeka,
yeah,
all those kind of tracks, like just kind of in your face, saying ridiculous shit, you know, trying to get a reaction out of you, but also something you can absolutely bop to, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I wanted to make here. So this is probably like the least deep track in the whole album, you know. It's just out there, crazy, just pedal to the metal.
What was it? You mentioned
That's what it's all about.
You mentioned Kodeka there. Would you say that he was a part of your inspiration for some of these tracks, or maybe the album as a whole, or?
I wouldn't say necessarily the album. It's kind of the fact that he was also around 18 the time he released his first like proper album, Voice Memos.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nothing directly from the album I took inspiration to, but yeah, I mean, I guess Beeman for Thundercat thing definitely built that.
Yeah. So just the very loud, sort of abrasive, in your face. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Okay. All right. Yeah. So moving on from, I mean, obviously, Comeback is just. I feel like that's more of like a, not in the traditional sense, not like a flex track, but it's very much. It's just smooth. It's really smooth. You're just like. You're basically just you're flowing over that one, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you're saying about you know, bro working in Tesco's, you know what I mean? Yeah, big up Tesco's, big up my man working in Tesco's.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you cut out for like a good few seconds.
Ah, no, that's peak. All right, well, what I was saying is, you know, obviously, so you know, there's the intro. It starts off with Comeback. You know, we got the you're just flowing over that one. You know what I mean? We're talking about big up my man in Tesco's working there, and then obviously Thunder Hunting. You know, like you said, it's the what you quoted as the fuck you track of the album, and then we move on to War Species, which is more. That's it's a lot more. I mean, like thought provoking. You know, I mean, in like a it's in still more of like a controversial way because some of the things that you're saying, but it's definitely more of like a. You know, I mean, the whole track is about how we can't help but keep arguing and fighting with each other over literally anything. We can't ever agree on anything. So, was there anything in particular that sparks you to write that track, other than just trying to, you know what I mean? I guess almost like push boundaries in a way, not like, you know what I mean? To like almost speak about how, you know, not the unspeakable, but you know what I mean? Like, you're speaking about things that like are very like actually factual and stuff like that. Like you are really trying to say about how we are just a species that can't help but fight with each other over nothing. So was there anything in particular that made you want to write about that particular topic?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously recently there has been quite a few like conflicts going around.
Yeah.
No, it is a little bit like situational, but then again, like, you know, since the beginning of time, there's always been wars. So technically, this track's always relevant, and like our whole kind of the way we conduct ourselves with each other, that's always been the same since the beginning of time. Always arguing over just like the most random stuff, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
The whole thing I made to kind of, it's not a new idea to take piss out of like governments and other war groups and extremist groups and whatever, but it's just taking piss out of the fact that yeah, we can start a war over literally anything, and there'll always be a war, and it's just, you know, it's just pointless loss of human life, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of address that factor. As you're listening to it, you're like, wow, this is satire, and the guy who I'm like narrating as is a psychopathic war general or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, this happens all the time, every day, like sick like war generals, whatever, like this, you know, they're all over the place, always leading to loss of human life.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to address that.
So the track in of itself is like satire, but at the same time you also are speaking on real issues, like real actual things that go on in the world.
Yeah, I'm kind of speaking through, I'm using kind of like politicians and whatnot as a vessel for this track.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So the views I say, you know, none of them are really mine.
But yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, it's very clear that you're obviously playing a character in that track. I mean, but
I just wanted to make that clear.
I mean, yeah, yeah. That's probably the safe thing to do. There's also something that I find particularly interesting. You mentioned about, you know, will there ever be peace in the Middle East? And then you're saying about
that was definitely situational.
Yeah, no, of course.
The past couple of years, there's just been non-stop conflicts over.
I mean, it is true though. I mean, you say obviously afterwards, you just say, "Oh, please," like in like a, you know, like a sarcastic manner. I mean, it is true though. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There seems to be constantly wars and everything going on over there. It's like it's pretty much just a battle war zone. You know what I mean? Like so it is mental to think that some places do just like fight constantly, and it can go on for years without any sort of stop. And so yeah, no, I can completely understand where you were coming from on that track. That was it was definitely a good one. You get your message across, whilst also still having a track that's obviously satire, like you say, and you're just taking the mic. But yeah, no, that.
The instrumental is also old for that. I think it was one of the first tracks I've ever sampled, and I had to re-engineer the whole thing to obviously fit the album and sound proper nice and good when it's all mixed down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the first samples I did. Which I think is a great sample.
No, it is.
Yeah. Really lucky to find that.
It done. Yeah, it's great. No, I mean that sounds. It sounds really good.
It fits the old war aesthetic really well.
It does.
Gloomy guitar.
And even like the horns that come in during the chorus, that very much.
Yeah.
Very much fits the whole war theme of the whole track. It is definitely very, very well done. And past that point, we've got When Friday Comes. Now, I also really like this track as well. You're obviously telling the story of, you're going out and doing all these mental things, you know what I mean, getting absolutely plastered, right? And then it's like by the end of it, you're like, okay, I think we should stop now, you know what I mean? We're taking this a bit too far. Like, as fun as this has all been, I really want, like, as your friend, I want you to be safe, you know what I mean? I don't want anything bad to come from this. But then obviously it's to the point where you're too far gone, and you're like, you're going to ask again, but you know that they're not going to listen to you. And I really like that. I really like the way it twists at the end to be that. No, yeah, so I mean, once again, like, I feel like this sort of, like, I don't want to say this has come from, like, a personal place, but, like, it seems like, like, almost like, it's something that you might have experienced, like, firsthand, like, not in, like, maybe the exact way that you portray in the song, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it does sort of seem like it has come from a place of, like, having genuine concern about, how, you can go out and do all these crazy things, but then you're like, eventually, you do need to calm down, and how there are some people that just won't, like, you know what I mean, even though you are genuinely, you're trying to look out for people, but regardless, it will be like, obviously, they won't listen and stuff like that. So, yeah, is there anything in particular when it comes to making this song, like, what provoked you to write this, or was it more of just like you thought it was a cool concept, like? Because that is obviously very possible, you know what I mean? Not every track has to necessarily come from a personal place. Sometimes it's just, you know what I mean? You get an idea for a track, and you're like, I want to write about that, you know what I mean?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, what I would say is it's based off a Hungarian track of the same name, I think, when translated.
Yeah.
And the bass is also really similar, but obviously the instruments and the way it's up, it's completely different. But yeah, the whole thing is, as you were saying, kind of, it's quite relatable, I feel like, to our generation.
Yeah.
Because obviously you want to go out, you want to party, have fun, whatever. But then when does it get to a point where, it's a bit too much?
Yeah, exactly.
And in the lyrics, it progressively gets more intense towards the end. And at the climax of that intensity is when our narrator realizes it's a bit too much. And he actually needs to look out for friends, be like more selfless than he was before.
Yeah. And
so the whole thing about the liver and the lungs near the end, he's kind of boasting about it, but at the same time he's saying that it's a bad thing, but he's still kind of boasting about it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of identifying that idiocracy of him and realizing that, just kind of a bit of self-reflection on yourself. And in terms of being personal, there definitely has been instances where, people do a bit more than they should, and you do want to look out for those people.
I feel like that is like sort of like a universal experience, you know what I mean? I feel like there's at least someone at least once in their life has experienced something like that. So that can be a very relatable track, you know what I mean? I mean, even if it's like not experienced, I guess, like firsthand, you'll hear about things and you're like, God damn, you know what I mean? Like that is like mental.
And the line where I talk about the taxi being 40 quid and that's a scam, that's actually a real event that happened between me and a friend.
40 quid for a taxi?
Yeah, we were about to come home from a night out and we were going to call a taxi, but it was 40 quid, so we ended up just walking the whole way. For a couple hours, but that was an adventure. So that's... It did actually happen.
Wow. So we got some bloody how the hell, like, what? I mean, that really is a scam. Yeah, 40 quid a taxi. That's just a scam. It actually is though. My God. Right, yeah, that is quite funny actually. That's come from a place of real experience.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I didn't just randomly talk about how 40 quid a taxi. Like, we actually did almost get scammed there.
So what you got in there? You were like, oh, can we go to so and so? Like, and it's like, how much?
Oh no, we called them up first. You know, we didn't just want to hop in and then say.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did say 40 quid.
And what you were like? You're right. All right, mate. Piss off.
Yeah, we weren't about to do that anytime.
Oh God. Yeah. No. It's better just to walk at that point. You know what I mean? Like that is. Anyways, yeah. No. So overall, yeah. No. That's another very, very well-made track. And then we're moving on to more of the the warning, very hot content. So I'm assuming that you done that skit with like an AI voice thing, like
I did indeed. I did it on purpose as well with the AI voice.
Yeah.
Not because I couldn't get someone to actually do it, or like a voice actor or whatnot. I want it to be specifically AI just because of how topical it is at the moment and how like popular it is.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to use it.
Yeah, no, it's good taking advantage of things that are popular.
It kind of demonstrate the realism as well of it.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. I mean, that does sound like someone's actually saying that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. I mean, obviously, I because I obviously know you. I know that obviously that wasn't a real person saying that unless you paid someone to done it, but like to have done it. But you know what I mean? But someone else could have fallen for it. You know what I mean? It is crazy how advanced AI is getting now with this. I mean, the amount of like AI covers you'll see of songs, and it sounds like I don't know, fucking Plankton singing Wonderwall. You know what I mean? Like it is mental how realistic and good this is all sounding now. Like it is mental, right? But now we move on to the most controversial track of the entire album. What were your thoughts behind making Lim Long?
Well, as you know before, it was named another name, which I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no, for legal reasons.
Let's just say they rhymed. Right?
Yeah, they rhymed. Yeah, for legal reasons, we're not allowed to disclose any prior versions of this track. For legal reasons,
Originally, Lim Long was it wasn't even really supposed to be part of the album. I was in the middle of while I was producing this album. I think at the time I may have been on When Friday Comes when producing it, but
yeah,
I was kind of expand my horizons, right? Trying to experiment. I tried to make this kind of British drum and bass kind of track.
Yeah,
that's where the instrumental stemmed from, at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, out of nowhere, I was like, hold on, I could make some outrageous lyrics to this that could actually go really well with the instrumental.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought about that, and obviously no offense to any of the Asians out there. This wasn't specifically targeted at you. I just had a few things I could say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it all worked out really well together. And then I did change when I had the idea of actually putting it on the album. I was like, well, this will only just make it more popular, controversial, and like more mad,
Yeah.
And expand kind of like the track list and genres it's trying to explore with the drum and bass.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, let's go for it. So I switched it around and made sure it did fit in with the album where it is. And I do like the skit beforehand, obviously.
Yeah, no, yeah.
They work well together.
I feel like, as I obviously, I do not condone anything that is said on the Lim Long track, right? But that skit beforehand at least gives some context.
Yeah, some warning.
Yeah. So I feel like that was very necessary. But yeah, no. Obviously we, after some heavy discussions, Lim Long had to be dulled down from what it originally was. Yeah. To put it very briefly. So yeah, and I feel like that was probably best. But overall,
it makes the album more memorable, I think, definitely.
I mean, yeah, this is
for the people I've talked to.
I mean, this is the epitome of you making it controversial. I mean, this is literally the peak. This is like the climax of the controversy out of all of the songs on here. Because past this point, they're actually pretty calm. You know what I mean? Like,
they are.
That is
that is definitely the climax, and then it calms down so much for like the remaining.
It actually does, yeah.
Tracks.
I mean, I've been staring at the track list the whole time whilst we've been talking here, and it
Yeah,
really
same.
does. I mean, yeah. So I mean, overall, you know, it is very catchy. At the beginning, it is quite funny how you're like you're saying about how you're probably to do a British accent. It's like, don't want to get cancelled at my second album. And it's just funny how it goes back to, and they call me Lim Long. It's just like, you're hitting like the classic drill voice. Like, it's so funny. Oh yeah, but that is definitely a memorable track on the album. Once again, the absolute peak of controversy. That one is there, but I feel like it does a brilliant job of what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to cause people to be like, what the hell, like what, and it's definitely the most outrageous song you've made to date.
It is. If anything tops that, I will be in jail.
I was about to say, are there any plans to try and top this? But you're probably right. Yeah, you will end up in jail if you try to outdo this song. But yeah, no, definitely a great song there. That is very good. Now, moving on past this point, probably my favourite track. We got Balaton Dreaming. I'm interested.
This took the longest to make by far. Like, both the instrumental and especially the lyrics.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is 3 minutes, so obviously I put a lot into it.
This is your longest song to date. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It is. You know,
it was going to be longer as well, but I did dial it down.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I actually really enjoyed it being the length it is. It's nice to hear the triple chorus. Like, I don't think that's ever happened in any of your songs beforehand. Like,
yeah, there would have been like a quadruple chorus after another breakdown at the end, but I ended up taking that out.
Yeah, no, but it's so good. Like, it's your longest track, but it doesn't feel long. It's so clean and concise. It's just. And also that chorus is probably the best chorus you've ever made. Like, I had that stuff. I was at work the other day and I had that chorus stuck in my head all day. Like, genuinely, I was just sat there. I was just there, like, you know, washing these little pots, right? And in my head the whole time I just heard Balaton dreaming, always gleaming. It's like, oh,
yeah, I knew I was onto something when I thought of that in my head. I was like, okay, this chorus has to be put in one of the tracks. Can't let it go to waste.
So good. Yeah, the verses are clean. You know, I even just like small little things like that bit where you like go get the noose, and then there's the repeat of it with the phone effect. Go get the noose. Yeah. I mean, even that's so cold.
I had a blast mixing this track, even though it took hours and hours.
Yeah, this is Well, yeah. Also, yeah, I forgot to mention that Lim Long and Balaton Dreaming. And that and Echo Lake as well. Those are all like completely self-produced, aren't they? Because I gave you the presets that I was using to mix the tracks, but you've done all the rest of the work yourself. Yeah, you don't know.
I think the mix for Echo Lake is well. We will talk about it later. But...
Yeah, but no, you did do a really good job. Although I'm going to ask you something, right? I've got a bone to pick with you. Did you put any reverb on the vocals for Lim Long or Balaton Dreaming?
I did.
Really? How much did you?
It wasn't much, but I did.
Yeah.
Delay as well.
Yeah.
No, I think there was more delay than reverb, but I did put both of them.
Because I was gonna say, because I don't know whether it's just like very hard to hear, because it seems like it's very, very minor. And I remember I said to you before, like you don't, you know, I obviously like mix tracks a certain way. You know, I like a bit of reverb, and the amount of times you've been like, can you turn that down? Like, can you? And no, because it sounds like to me, I couldn't really hear it as much. So I thought I was gonna have to start beefing you because I thought you just turned it off.
No, I mean, I think you can hear it. It's just
very minor. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least At least you were not silly enough to not put nothing. Okay, you know what?
Mate, I don't want my vocals to be that dry. Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna say. Right. Okay, but
Like
no.
a Sahara Desert without reverb or delay or anything like that.
Yeah, literally. But no, you've done a really great job with the vocals, like levels and everything like that for the ones that you've done completely by yourself. Like they are sounding great. I mean, and it's definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, you know, I'm always love to make like mixed tracks and that for you, but like if you're able to do that yourself, you can really hone in on what you want, like in your sound, and be able to do it yourself. You know what I mean? And that is such a useful skill as an artist. Like, because you can do literally anything you want at that point. It's so freeing.
It can be quite enjoyable as well when you just kind of mix it down to exactly what you want.
Exactly. No, definitely. It's great. But no, yeah. Also, what is what did you like? I'm assuming you sampled something for Ballathon Dreaming, or was that a loop, or like, what is that main sort of like the string sort of part that's being played there?
Yeah, the harmonica in the background.
Yeah.
It's from. Let me see. I mean, I do have the track here somewhere. All I know is it's from like this old kind of guy who did instrumentals in like what, the 1960s or 70s, like old. These are old samples, alright.
Yeah.
That's why I had to kind of modernize them. But I think it slaps really hard, and it has like the different progressions as well throughout it.
Yeah.
I think I used 3 or 4 progressions throughout, and it just gets you really hyped up. That's why I really love it. And for the chorus as well, it was like the thing that fit the most of all the potential samples I'd line up for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just fit the most out of everything I'd cook in.
No, it does slap so hard. I really like the vocal layering for the chorus as well. Like it took me a couple of listens to hear on the right side you're hitting the I didn't hear that like a couple of times. Does that come in on the second chorus? Like I really like the layering there. It really brings out so much.
Yeah, it's the third one. I did quite a lot of layering, and the build up as well. I did by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. What the?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that's great.
So for that, I did that like normally next to the mic.
Yeah.
And then I stood up and I like stood like a meter away from the mic to the left.
Yeah.
Meter away from behind, in front, and to the right as well.
Yeah.
So that was like 5 layers in of itself, and I mixed it all together to be like the build up just by itself. So there was so many layers involved in this, but yeah, I think it was worth it.
No, absolutely, yeah. No, that is so sick. I was wondering whether that build up you done yourself or not, but no.
It feels like a whole group of people kind of chanting.
It does. Yeah, it does. It is great. It sounds so good. Like that is absolutely quality. Yeah, no, that is sick. And then after that, we got a bit of an instrumental break. We're buzzing. Overall, just a very, very nice, very, very clean. I mean, I can see that in like the beginning of like a video essay. You know what I mean? Like someone's about to break something down. I can hear that in the background. You know what I mean? Like that is great. It's a nice, smooth little instrumental there. And then we get on to Studio Talk with Charles skit. I mean, this is where I get to have some insight on these tracks as well. That was very, very fun recording that. I remember I came over and we were like sorting out the final mixes for a lot of the tracks. Yeah, onto the Studio Talk with Charles. I mean that was so much fun to record. I mean, literally,
you do have some insight on that.
I do, yeah. I can have some insight on that. What did that take? Did that take 3? Was that the 3rd take? I think we took 3 takes, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd.
The 2nd or 3rd one, because I know that the 1st one, you know, we done it, and we're like, okay, we'll do that again. And then the 2nd time, like unprompted, you just you pick up this chair and just launch it across the room, and I had no idea it was coming. It just boom, and that's what the big clashing sound against the floor was. But no, that was funny because I had no idea you were gonna do that. You just decided to launch the chair on the 2nd one.
I was scared that you weren't gonna be like the mic wasn't gonna pick it up, but it did, so that's good.
It really picks it up. Yeah, it was very yeah, it was great. Yeah, and yeah, and then there was the 3rd take, and it was good. It was because that was all like, obviously we had a rough idea of what we were gonna say, but you know, it slightly evolved every time to the point where on the 3rd take, you know what I mean. I think it was probably, I can't remember which take we did using. I think it was probably the 2nd. I think it was the 3rd one. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
you know, the story develops obviously.
It was all improvised, so it wasn't
Yeah,
scripted or anything.
exactly. It wasn't scripted or anything. But no, the evolution continues from the first studio talk on the first album to now the second one, where you've had enough of me, and you come in, start destroying my studio, and then you're like, I'm getting a new sound engineer, and it's so funny. I was quite thrown off about the censors as well. I feel like it makes it funnier though. I don't know why. It just does. Like I was sat there and I was expecting it, and then I was like, I just got the final mixes and then it's just like, oh, but you know, it's like, you know what? Fuck you. I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Fuck you. Fuck stargazing. And it's just it's great. And although something I am slightly confused about is was there any? I don't know whether this was just a general like slip of mind, or obviously there's like censoring when we're both together, but when you leave the room and I'm at the end, like I was gonna say I really fucking liked it as well. You let that one fly.
Yeah, I purposefully didn't censor that.
Purposely.
To add to the comedic effect.
Yeah.
It's kind of contradicting the whole beginning of it.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was quite funny. I was a bit confused. I was like, what?
Yeah, I wanted it to like throw people off.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't get censored.
But no, that
it wouldn't have the same way as well if I censored it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, that is very true. But no, it's great. I mean, that whole it's great. I feel like I love doing those little skits. They are so much fun to record.
They are really great.
I'm sure that there will be many more to come as well. Many more. So moving on past that point, we have Echo Lake. Absolutely, I think the beat on that is probably my favorite one. I love that beat. That little the guitar thing. Oh my, that is so sick. Like so catchy, and even that, like what especially for this one, like what made you like pick the story that you did for Echo Lake? I mean, it gives me like very reminiscent of what, I don't know. It just makes me, whenever I think of this track, I think of like Friday the 13th. That's sort of like the thing that comes to mind. Like, what was your inspiration? Because obviously,
alright, so there's a bit of context behind it. So funny enough, there was I can't remember when it was on TikTok. There was this trend, right, where people would use AI to generate these kind of like fantasy worlds and like these 90s style AI. I mean, not AI, fucking anime, right?
Yeah.
And there's one in particular that was like all AI generated. I did take some inspiration from. And also there was this anime from the 90s called Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
And that also inspired me quite a bit to make it as well.
Oh, that's sick, mate. Yeah. So, I mean, it's so sick when like small things like that just give you inspiration to make songs. I mean, I've made a whole song that I got inspired by just by looking at one singular image, and then I made the song in an hour. So, but no.
The sample is from Piero Umiliani on a Umilian, and it's I can't remember the. I think it's like Crepsulu Sumare. It's like this Italian guy, right?
Yeah.
And it's used a lot in like gangster kind of Italian mafia movies and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, got it. It just fits so well with aesthetic. I love it.
It really does. Yeah. I mean, it seems like you're really getting these samples from like a wide variety of places as well. I mean, like
definitely. Like I'm literally pulling them out from the ends of the earth that no one will know to look.
No, that's really sick. It must be fun as well. Like, how do you like come across these samples? Do you like specifically go out of your way to try and find the most vague and out there things, or does it just
sometimes I do. I usually always go for really old samples for copyright reasons and also to make it more unique.
Yeah.
And people are like not as likely to have heard it before. And you know how Spotify has the Discover Weekly thing?
Yeah.
I do use that as well. That sometimes gives me some really random, like a really like wide variety of random tracks.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely helps as well to try and find these juicy samples.
You know, definitely. I mean, they all sound great. I mean, all the samples that you've used on the album all sound amazing. I mean, they fit really well. You get them to work with all the aesthetics for all the tracks that you're trying to make. I mean, They're great, and I really like the use of the vocals as well. How you'll pan it to a certain side, and it will be like very reverbed about saying things, and then you'll come back in with the main like vocal, and that's very cool. It's a very small touch, but it adds so much. And I think probably one of my favorite things about the song is how when everything gets really twisted, you reverse the whole track.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was such a good idea. And it just because then it really gives off that sort of like eerie vibe at that point.
So not only is it like metaphorically twisted with the story, but the beat itself is twisted and everything about it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. No, it sounds so good. I mean, there's that, and even just like things like the rhyme schemes. I mean, even like really small things like it's just the whole rhyme schemes and getting everything to flow perfectly, and then actually, being able to tell a story at the same time that makes sense and everything like that. It's just it's so good. And then at the end,
I'd so long. Oh, sorry, what were you gonna say about the end?
I was gonna say at the end, I like the twist as well, where Corey gets sees someone and he takes them back, assuming it's and he's saving them, and he turns on and it's not Annie, it's not the person he was there for, and it just ends on that. That's cool. I like that.
What I was gonna say is how I wrote this in like a day, and I had plenty of time to write it because I was traveling back from Europe, right?
Yeah.
Fat car journey, like 9-10 hours, and yeah, I was writing that on the way there, on the way home. So yeah, that's where the inspirations came as well.
Oh, that is it's sick. It's really cool when you got that free time just to write some things. You know what I mean? And I mean that's what comes from it.
Came to me in my head, and yeah, I loved it.
It's always great when you just get the idea. You know what I mean? You get inspired by something, and that's it. You're just set, and you end up getting it done. That is wonderful. All right, so we're moving on to the latter end of the album now, and we got probably the most mellow and sort of chill track on the entire album. We come to Ceilings, which it fits the album, but in a way it's quite contrasted by some of the other songs. I mean, especially coming off Echo Lake. I mean, that is I think my favorites on the album are my top three in no particular order are probably Thunder Cunting, Balaton Dreaming, and Ceilings. Probably those are my top three. Ceilings is just like, I mean, like, I feel like it's a really, like, in a way it's a really weird track, because some of the things you say are quite funny, you know what I mean, but at the same time, like, obviously you are like speaking on some things that are quite relatable and a lot more deeper. Like, so what was sort of like, what was your thought process with this track? Because obviously there are quite like contrasting lines.
Yeah,
they're not clashing, but they're quite different and they're quite juxtaposed from each other. So what was your thoughts here? Was it more so you wanted just more of a calmer track, but you didn't want it to be too deep? But like, what was your thoughts here? Because it works really well, whatever you've done. I just want to know, like, what is the context behind this one?
So first of all, I wanted to continue this theme of juxtaposition. Same thing with Thunder Cunting, how the calm, kind of more mellowed down childhood beat obviously contrast the really vulgar language and whatnot.
Yeah.
The sample I use for this is literally from this guy playing some instruments next to this calm beach in like the 50s or the 60s.
Yeah.
And in a way, it carries the same way in terms of being really slowed down and mellow. I mean, most of these samples I do slow down to great effect, but here it was very similar tempo to the original, just because it's more slowed down and calm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole kind of beachside aesthetic got flipped by this whole like all the ideas I'm talking about in the lyrics. It's a lot more like dark.
Definitely. I mean, I can definitely feel a lot of what's being said in here. I mean, it feels like one of those late night tracks. I listen to this sometimes, before I go to, I'm laying up, it's decently late, you know what I mean, it's just dark, and I'll throw that on. It's one of those tracks, you know what I mean, I can just imagine being sat outside, it's just, street lights, and I just put that on. You know what I mean? That's how I envision this track. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the way I wrote it, at first the title was Two Guns, One Funeral,
Yeah.
which is, you know, just a little bit darker. But
Yeah.
the time when I wrote this, I woke up. It was a gloomy, miserable day. It was like the middle of winter, right?
Yeah.
Dark outside, raining. I was on my way to school, and I was just having a really bad day. I mean, I don't think anything particular happened, but it was just a dead day, right?
Yeah.
And I actually wrote I wrote the whole song on the way to school, believe it or not, which is kind of mad when you think about it.
Really?
Yeah, like the first half of it I wrote on the way to school, and then the rest of it I kind of developed later on. But yeah, it was just such a terrible day, and I was thinking about all these terrible thoughts, and I just had to kind of write them down.
No, I mean it is always good to it's a good way of getting out like certain feelings and thoughts. You know what I mean? Just getting them out, making a song about it and stuff like that, just to express sort of that. Use your ability as an artist to just get it out there. You know what I mean? I mean it's definitely. I mean, it's one of those ones I can really appreciate from personal experience, because I know that sometimes it might not be the easiest for to be able to do that. I mean, you know what I mean. But no, I really appreciate that track. It's definitely, like I said, it's in my top 3 of the album. I mean,
like everything I say in there, like none of it's filler. All has like personal meaning to me in my life. Everything I talk about.
No, exactly. Those are the really hard hitting tracks. No, I really feel that. Yeah. So honestly, yeah, that's a really great job with that one. It's great. It's very personal. I can tell, and you know what I mean. That sometimes
you
happens.
do kind of need some of those tracks in albums.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, I mean, it can't all just be just like absolutely. I mean, it depends. You know what I mean, if it's like. There could be some albums that are just like purposely made to be unbelievably wacky and just ridiculous, right? But like, usually, you got to have one that's sort of, speaking on some real, you know what I mean, just more mellow, just speaking about some stuff, you know what I mean. So it's definitely needed, definitely needed within the album. And then past this point, we move on to the final track with actual lyrics before the ending, which is Atlas. Now, this one particularly interests me because
the backstory behind this is actually quite interesting.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. I was about to say, like, what, because
it seems quite random, doesn't it?
It does seem really random. I mean, I even still now sort of like in a way sort of struggle to understand like it. I enjoy the song, but I'm really interested about like what it really means. Like, what is the context behind this one? Yeah.
Okay, so it all started when a good friend of mine in Hungary, he has like this huge CD collection, right? And he sometimes listens to like classical tracks.
Yeah.
And he was showing me this classical album. It was this like German one, and there was this song called The Atlas. Had like a really similar piano beat to this.
Yeah.
And it inspired me so much. Obviously, it's about the Greek mythology, the god Atlas, whatnot. His struggles with life, being chained down and forced to hold the whole world in front of him. And I thought that was such a. I mean, I still have the CD on me. I think that was such a powerful. Even though it is classical music, the piano for it, especially in the lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really stood with me. And this is a friend I really hold dear to me. And so I took inspiration from that in terms of the title, and I found other classical tracks that had similar piano to it, that was slightly more modernized, slightly mixed better, and I cut them up a lot. Right, it took. I had a bunch of classical samples, and I just spent a whole day trying to mixing out exactly what to cut. But I think it did turn out well. It is catchy.
Yeah.
And then I threw on some drums, more piano that I did myself. Made the whole thing kind of reverbed and distant, dystopian. In terms of the lyrics, it's about, well, it still links to the Greek god Atlas, but it's in the context of Atlas being sort of this like a rapper, if you get what I mean, like this kind of like gangster.
Yeah.
And kind of blending those two contrasting personalities together. That's what the whole album is about. I mean, a theme for it, I would say, just juxtaposition. stuff.
So it's more so like, are we talking like, because you say obviously in this context you're saying about how Atlas is, yeah, I mean he's like a rapper, right? But so is like him having to hold the world like on his shoulders, is that still like, would you say that's more of a metaphorical? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a symbol of all his troubles that he talks about his in the song, like troubles with jobs,
Drugs,
and you know whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like relationship problems as well at some point.
Yeah. So him having to hold up the world is a metaphorical symbolism of him also being a rapper and expressing them down on pen and paper.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. You know that actually like gives me a lot of context and understanding on the track now. Like that definitely. I mean, that makes a lot more sense to me now. So.
And the drums are quite hip hop as well. So that clues it in a little bit more that it is a rapper now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. All right. In that. Yeah. No. That's actually that's been really quite insightful. Actually, like I said,
some of these are a bit difficult to explain because you have a million things running through your heads while you're making them, and it's hard to kind of express it all.
I know.
Yeah,
definitely.
2 minutes 12 seconds.
It is very, very difficult. I can completely understand that. I mean, you really have like answered. I mean, these really well. Like it makes so much sense. Like I do really appreciate you. Explaining these. You know, what I mean, like because like you said, it can be very difficult because, like you have like a million different ideas and thoughts going through your mind whilst you're also making these songs. So just to have be able to explain it in words sometimes is difficult. But no, you've done a great job, mate. But yeah, no, that I think that's quite cool actually. How you use like the metaphor of Atlas having to carry the world on his shoulders. Like that is very, very good. That's a cool idea. And I assume is that what because the ending of that track you have the you can never be the best.
The ending's where it kind of stirs away from the whole rapper personality and kind of comes back to Atlas, the god himself. That's why it's kind of like a omnipotent kind of voice I did for the mix right at the end.
I know that you're at the end of that you're obviously, like you said, you're playing like the role of Atlas on this track. But would you say that that ending of that seems like, is that more of like a statement to like, because you say like the world will be mine, it's just a matter of time. I know that obviously, like you said, you're playing a character in this, but would you say that's more of like a personal thing? Is like within like you've got the motivation, like you're gonna get out there, like it's only a matter of time. Is that more like of something personally you feel within yourself, like, and you're trying to express that, or is it just entirely just playing the character still? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, yeah, to some degree it is about kind of going up, but in the context of Atlas the track itself, it is more to do with the mythological being.
Yeah.
Instead of me as a person.
Okay, all right, interesting. But no, yeah, I really like that ending. It's very nice, and then that obviously leads off into the Lil Jesus anthem, which, as far as I'm aware, was all played in by yourself.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, that is it's nice. It's really, what I mean, it's a nice little instrumental to have, after some more like full-on songs, you know what I mean? Well, I would say full-on. I mean, you know what I mean? Echo Lake Ceilings is more calm. Atlas is sort of more. It's not mellow, but it's more of like, you know what I mean? I guess it's a bit grittier than the rest of the tracks.
Yeah, it's a bit darker.
Yeah. So have the little instrumental after that is good. It sounds great, you know what I mean? Instrumentals.
It sounds like something you'd use for like, well, not really for an intro, but more for an outro. I thought it makes sense to put it second to last.
No, yeah, I completely.
It's a good transition into your little ending as well.
Yeah, no. To speak on to the ending, I can give full of my own insight on this one, right? So. I was just chilling, right? I was meeting up with someone, right? And we were sat in a Nero's cafe, right? And that was when you messaged me on Discord and you were saying that you needed an outro for this album, right? And I was like, all right, okay. Like, what do you want? Like, is there anything that you particularly want from me? And you were like, something that sounds good or something like that. Is like pretty much what you said. And I was like, right, okay. That really narrows it down. Cheers,
I was
mate.
really specific.
Yeah, you were unbelievably specific. Yeah, no. But so I was sat there, and she goes to me. She goes, "What if, right? You just do like Wonderwall or something like that?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you're a genius, right?" So, so what I done is I got home. It wasn't that day. It was a couple of weeks later because I think you had to. No, was it that? I can't remember, right? But it was like that week or the week after. And I was sat here with my microphone. I load up FL Studio, right? And I do it all in one. Well, I obviously record all the parts separately, but I do it all in one take. I do the bit at the beginning where I'm like, that was cool. Anyways, here's Wonderwall. And then I whip out my dad's acoustic guitar, right? And I'm sat there playing that. Well, I didn't even. I can't play the acoustic guitar or guitar as a whole, right? I am terrible at playing the guitar, right? But it improves, right? It improves the humor factor, right? Because it sounds terrible, right? So I whip out this guitar, right? I start recording on FL. I just bum 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 dum bum dum 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 dum, and I just do it first take, right? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then I just do the today is gonna be the day, and I just done that first time as well. And then yeah, it just ends with me absolutely lashing the guitar, and then yeah, it's the end of the album. So
it's a perfect ending.
Yeah, so I cannot take credit for the idea. It was not my idea. I was given the idea, but I feel like the execution was very well done. You know, first take, it was meant to be funny. It was funny. It's just meant to be stupid. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's like the classic meme. You know, it's just like, oh yeah. Anyways, yeah, here's Wonderwall. You know what I mean? It's just like after this whole album,
it does fit really well.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad that it worked out well because yeah,
after all this like really deep, miserable, dark shit, you just got Wonderwall.
It's just Wonderwall. Yeah, you know, I got to bring up the mood. You know what I mean? I gotta make sure that everyone is you know, jolly at the end of this. So yeah, everyone got to experience my my debut at playing the guitar in any songs. It won't happen again. Unless I'm, you know, unless anything particularly comes. Actually, right. Oh wait, sorry. I've just had a genius idea. I'm not gonna spoil it in case I do it in future. But I'll retract my statement about it never happening again. It probably will. But yeah, no. So that concludes the album. I mean, it's really been. I mean, it's been great to be able to sit here and talk to you about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's been a blast.
I've personally really enjoyed this album, and I mean, I'm not sure if what like else you've heard from other people, but I've heard from, you know, people that I speak to that they really enjoy it and they think it's sick and everything like that. So I hope that you're feeling good about everything. I mean, you should be proud.
I'm feeling a lot of time and effort into it, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be able to shed some light on things that are not as much known.
Yeah, of course, mate. I mean, it's always fun to speak music with you. I mean,
little behind the scenes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always nice to obtain some context on, especially on things that I personally enjoy. You know what I mean? But no, yeah. So it's been. Unless there's anything else that you want to add before we go, is there what's next? What are you thinking about next? I mean, obviously, I'm not expecting you to be like, I got another album coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, next week, new album, right? But what's the idea? What you know, is there anything that anyone can go off? Like, what's the future saying?
I mean, well, when people usually remaster tracks, it's usually like ages after they've made it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, decades. But I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to remaster them now. To be honest with you, and release them now.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm thinking of remastering some stuff. At some point in the future, there will most definitely be a deluxe version of Warning Hot content, which will feature many of the unreleased tracks, as well as some added goodies and some slight changes to the mix.
That is great. You've heard it here, guys. First exclusive news right here. There almost certainly, from what you said, will be a deluxe for Warning Hot content. That is great. My man is cooking. My man does not.
There may or may not be a project that me and CHX are working on.
Yeah.
May or may not be.
I wasn't sure whether you were gonna mention it or not, but yeah, no. that is definitely in the works as is. Still very early stages, but absolutely, maybe, release date the 28th of January, 2068 2. So be hyped for that.
Well, that's quite early, but yeah, I guess if we rush it, we might do it.
Yeah, if we rush it, if we bang it all out tomorrow, then it'll be ready in time. But no, yeah, that will probably be a smaller one. But no, absolutely. I mean, I'm so hyped for that. I mean, one of the tracks for that we're gonna work on, I've had the beat for like a gazillion years now. But no, it's gonna be sick. So yeah, definitely look out for that. More news will come out as the time gets closer to that. But yeah, no, I think that's everything. Unless there's anything else you want to add.
No, that's about it.
All right, okay. In that case. We're going to leave this up here. Thank you for listening to the first, and I don't know. I'm sure there'll probably be more in future. If there'll be more in future, if there's anything more to talk about, you know what I mean? I'm sure I can get, try and get some more people on here. With new releases, you know what I mean? I'm not expecting them to be frequent. I won't be on here often. But it's been really nice speaking to you, mate. Have a good rest of your day.
It's been great.
And yeah, thanks for anyone who was listening. Yeah, look out for more in 20 years, and we'll do episode 2. All right, sweet. Cheers. In a bit.
In a bit.